In India, I never had this. I never had an entrepreneurship environment. Unless you are from a business family, you will not get that environment. Why did I come to US and what's the purpose? I always want to start a company and build something, but do you have to wait 10 years?
The idea is that all of us have ideas. Like
Yeah,
in today's
doesn't
world,
it?
everyone has an idea, everyone has their point of view on any topic. Like create a video on it because then you are taking an action. You are doing like an effort is there.
A lot of people are debating like ChatGPT takes out the basic level developer jobs and a lot of jobs, but after using it for a lot of days, I can tell you that you should be skilled enough to use the ChatGPT, to use the code that produced the ChatGPT because it has a lot of errors.
Welcome to Story2here, where we share unique stories of Indian immigrants who have made it to the US. I'm Abhishek, your host, where we share their experiences, struggles, and triumphs with you. If you're looking for guidance and want to get inspired by fellow Indians who had similar background and struggles growing up, this is the place for you.
Okay. So Sharath, where are you? Where are you now? I see you're outside somewhere.
Uh, I'm in Dallas. It's a sunny morning today. Last night it rained so much, so it's good here.
Mm,
Climate's good.
good. So I know we connected during in Austin during a meetup, and I know you were sort of volunteering for the first million podcast
Yes.
guys, and I think I was pretty impressed by the fact that you were just graduating, but you were already making inroads into networking events, which I think I have learned it much later in my career. But it was great to see you volunteering, reaching out to people, and doing those things, which I think is critical, especially in the US. I mean, like as I said, I learned it in a different way. I never came to college I never came to the US for college, so I don't have the college experience. But during this, we wanted to sort of pivot and ask people like you who are just graduating out of college, which is a very interesting phase in everyone's career.
Mhm.
So tell me about your story. So where are you from in India, and how did you land up in Dallas?
Yeah. First of all, my name is Sharath, and I'm from Andhra Pradesh, India, from South India.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, my aunt, who's my mother's sister, came to US when I was very young, and that's the first time when I was inspired to come to the US. But later in my teenage, later after in my bachelor's, I pivoted to joining the civil services. I started preparing for civil services during my bachelor's, and after seeing one article in the paper, I the very next day I stopped everything and started preparing for GRE and started focusing on uh, coming to US because the article was some politician transferred a civil servant to Andaman Nicobar Islands, uh, just some because of some silly thing. So I thought, why there are a lot of people who are working hard in civil services right now, but I thought it's not for me, it's not my thing, and the very next day started preparing for to come to US and hope I'm lucky enough to get the visa, F1 visa, student visa, and I came to US on now December 20th, 2020, during the peak of the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I came,
So
yeah, go ahead.
So you came in 2020 December, which I think most of the world was trying to do
Yeah,
masking and stay-at-home orders, and that is the time when you took one of the biggest leap of faith to come to the US and study. So how was your experience landing in the US during COVID and your first experience with US once you landed? How was that experience?
it's pretty average should I say? Because uh, all we all know the US from the movies, the the articles from the West, and we all fantasized and idealized US when we come before we come here. But when I landed in the US on December 20 at Indiana airport, and Indiana states are is one of the, I think it's second from the lowest, like in the income and in the development. So when I landed, I thought this is not the America I fantasized and dreamt about. But let us see, let us explore, and let us learn new things here. So I came to Indiana first. I joined Purdue University during my first semester, and
Mhm.
after first semester, I thought the curriculum was same as my bachelor's, and there's no change. Because I just wanted to learn new things in America, not the same things, and graduate. That's the time I explored things about information technology and management courses, and I joined
Mhm.
UT Dallas the very next semester. My parents supported me. I'm thankful for them.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is interesting because many people that I talk to who have come for college, they also talk about this first experience of underwhelmed because they landed in a smaller airport or went to a college town, which is like, somewhere in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
and you don't have that experience. So, I mean, this is part of it. But going back, so with your shift in from Purdue to Dallas, how did you find Dallas, and how did you make friends here? Did you have friends already, or did you have to make new friends through your network?
No, all my friends from bachelors did not come to US until now, and I'm requesting them every day to move to US to come to US because I'm feeling lonely. Because it's hard to make friends for some people in US. No, I'm not saying for all of them, but if you are an introvert, if you are a kind of person who keeps for himself, I think it's hard to make new friends. But US has a great environment. Indian students have great environment. Like they invite new students to parties, new people to their homes, and it's kind of a homely environment in US. Like a lot of people are coming here, and it's nice
Mhm.
to see that thing happening among the Indian students.
But it is tough to make friends, and I think this even resonates with me as well. Though I did not come through college, but making friends, it becomes tough because there's a lot of cultural challenges. And then from your perspective, as you have come here and it's tough to make friends and you become lonely, how have you handled this over the last 2 years? How do you make a network?
Well, at first, it's just calling home. Uh, in the first few days, welcome after coming to US, it's calling home, calling friends back home in India. After that, slowly our roommates become our friends, and some of the people at our university become acquaintances. And slowly, you start when you come to US with a purpose, when you know clearly what you want to do, what your path is, it's
Mhm.
you will not feel lonely, or you will not feel anything like I should make friends or something. But when I came to US, I didn't have any clear cut path or clear cut ambition. I just want to complete my masters and do a job. But after moving to Dallas, I started following these people on the internet. I started participating in online communities. Uh, I started interacting with people on Twitter. By the way, I should tell you that from the last 1 year, I found out that more than LinkedIn, Twitter has given so many people so many jobs and so many new connections. And Twitter is the most powerful thing happening right now. And in the last 6 months, I have made very new, powerful friends, like who are businessmen, who are millionaires, who are billionaires. billionaires
Hmm.
be their friends, but I made them my acquaintances. So that's a very powerful thing on Twitter. So even if you're introvert, if you even if you don't have any friends outside, in America, you can network online.
Yeah, that's cheat code. I mean, that's a cheat code. I think, to be frank, I'm not on Twitter just because of I was there before, but with the time it takes, and uh, there are good things, and there are also things that can take a lot of your mental toll with Twitter. But that's a good trick to make friends in Twitter, and I think that's a lot of people are not aware because I think many people are on Instagram or on LinkedIn. I mean, these are the two major platforms for Indian community that I see beyond Facebook. Like Facebook is essentially dying in that perspective. That more the young people are mostly on IG or LinkedIn. So it's a good point that you made on Twitter. So in terms of your visa, right? So I think that's the question that I get a lot. That hey, how's the visa situation? Can you lay it down for someone who's trying to come here? What are the things he should be thinking about in terms of one getting ready for college application? Like what is the thing that you feel could help them? And then once they're here, what they should be thinking, and maybe a couple of steps ahead around visa perspective.
Sure. First of all, if you have the idea of coming to US at the very early stage of your bachelor's, you should start building your portfolio. Right, you shouldn't waste any much time. I regret my entire life that wasted so much of my time in bachelor's without building these portfolios, without building any of the products that I am dreamt about. So if you are a person who want to come to US at the very when you think of this at very early stage of your bachelor's, start building your
Mhm,
portfolio. It will help you a lot. Start building connections online. Start building products, something in your niche, and this will
mhm,
take you places. And many of the universities consider students who have a very diversified portfolio and who uh, did things practically than just studies and marks. So that's
mhm,
the thing we should do when you are in India. Once you get an application, once you get an admit, once you get a visa, after coming here, you should start thinking about how to get a job, how to increase your skills, all your masters. So many students and me myself wasted some of my master's time uh, without upskilling myself. And later I realized and upskilled. That's not a problem, but this is the thing you should do. But most of the students are I feel that some of them are not concentrating on upskilling and getting a job. Many of
So, so I have two questions. So, for someone who's listening, so what do you mean by portfolio, and what do you mean by upskilling? Can you start with what does a portfolio mean?
suppose you are a computer science student in bachelor's. You are interested in some kind of things that you want to build, like a website for starting. In first year, start building some basic websites. uh, Upskill yourself. Like there are so many online platforms you can learn about. There are a lot of new things coming every day. Right now, AI is the hot thing. uh, I spoke to so many students, and 65% of them didn't even realize how powerful ChatGPT was, and they did not even use it for a couple of times until now. So that's a very bad thing to hear about, because the next big thing, we should all be running behind it, and we should all be grabbing whatever piece we can from that.
Mhm,
And upskilling yourself means keeping up with the world and keeping up with the skills that are emerging every day. Because 6 months ago, Web3 is a hot thing, and now it's not.
mhm,
And I think it's not. It will not be like Web3, but it will sustain, and it will rule the world. So this is what I call
mhm,
upskilling. And every time you learn a new thing, apply it, build a product. Even it doesn't matter how small it is. Just start building something.
mhm,
It will give you a lot of knowledge. and start deploying it, start showing it to people. Portfolio means building something, learning something, building something, and showing something. That's what a portfolio is. Portfolio doesn't mean a website, but it's a Twitter bio, Twitter, or LinkedIn bio, or LinkedIn followers, something.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, these are good. So you are talking about, so as I have been in product and also debt around startups and stuff like that. So I think a lot of people who are coming in, especially with like a lot of just engineering degree, so they feel that like the sheer technical knowledge will get like make them the the things that they want to achieve. I think having technical skills as you're starting is very critical. Like I'm sure as you're going out of college, if you're trying to get a job, you need to know all of that. But as you're saying, like building portfolios also, especially in the US, I see this as I'm raising my kid as well. It's just not about scoring the highest marks in some exam. And as I don't know if you have tracking this also, even in the US, you'll see many top colleges are now not considering SAT or other scores just because well, there is a lot of politics behind it. But I think in general, they are now saying it's just not sheer numbers that you get in some standardized thing, which I think Indians and Asians have sort of perfected that art of getting the highest scores in these exams. But they're looking for, as you're saying, like portfolios and something in India as we grew up, and I'm sure you are younger to me, and as you also grew up, we never talked about building things.
Yes. uh, that's I think that's the main drawback for us, because uh, when I came here, I see a lot of entrepreneurship environment around students that's growing. And in India, I never had this. I never had an entrepreneurship environment. Unless you are from a business family, you will not get that environment. And my parents are employees, government employees, and I didn't have that kind of environment around me. And
Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. So one of the other, like this is an important topic because I have seen, and I wanted to ask this question around, as you're saying, a lot of us come, not all of us come from business background. Our parents are like, as you've said, like been in service and stuff like that. Um, how do you how do you handle their aspiration? Because they have an aspiration of Sharath going to the US, and that's what they are telling their relatives. And you are here. Oh, did Sharath get a job? Oh, he going? I mean, that's the. I mean, this is a general progression for any family. But how do you manage their expectation, knowing that they may not know what is there in the world, but also trying to keep them satisfied in what they want you to do?
Yeah. To tell you this, I will tell you my story from last 5 months, from the time I graduated until now, because I think this is the time I search for a job, and I looked out for so many jobs. I spoke with so many people. I took so many referrals. I spoke with so many relatives. Every day I'm speaking with my parents and convincing them, arguing with them. And first of all, my mom was my biggest fan and she believes in me no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But she has her own fears. Like when I told her that I want to start a company, I'm starting a company and I will not be doing a job, traditional job. She was scared and she asked me so many doubts about it. Like, did you ask this clearly? Did you clear it out? Did you have clarity on this one, this thing? Are you sure you can do this? Are you sure your visa allows it? These are the things that she asked me when I was to first told her, but she did not tell me don't do it, just to do it, just do a job. I'm lucky enough to have her, and I I took some time to convince my father, but he's also supportive. But he wants me to do a job even right now. So uh, there it's a very bad market from last 5 months. Like it's not a job friendly market from last 5 months, and I have taken so many referrals from so many relatives and spoke with so many people. And at some point of time my parents were like, they know only about me and they don't know about the whole situation here, and they thought I wasn't able to get the job because I didn't have the required skills. So
Mm-hmm.
after speaking with relatives, they also came to know, slowly realized that the market is dull right now and it's not a
Mm-hmm.
good market. So I always wanted to start a company. So I my every step from last 1 year, I every step I took it to build a company, and I realized so many things. I spoke with so many people, attorneys, and I made sure that my visa allows to set me up a company and
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur on F1 visa.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know it can be really a big struggle. I just cannot I cannot empathize with you because I've not been in that place. But I know being a parent is tough. Um,
Yeah.
all parents want the best for them, and sometimes their view of the world is not what the view of the world is currently, and I think it's a struggle. As I would say, like even for me, as I have spent money to build company or do stuff on my like weekend, I'm trying to do all of these things I'm doing. um, though if you look at, I have tried to be more traditional, get a job, have a family, have kids. So it's if you look at sort of that checkbox of the society, it's filled. But I think your generation is going to question even those things. And I think it's a struggle. So I think good that you are able to do that. But what would you like? What what would you suggest for someone, let's say, thinking about coming to the US? This is 2023. We know the markets are a bit tight. The even the startup market is start with the funding and all of that. So how should they process? Many of them may not be in your stage of life in terms of your thought process. A lot of people may take it even 10 years to get where you are now in your thought as you're thinking about building things in the US. What should be they thinking? Like they are thinking, okay, I think most of them, as you're saying, are thinking, let me get my visa. I got a college, let's say I got UT Dallas, and I just want to come and do my course and get a job. Um, is that what would you suggest to them? Is that the right thing to do? What should they be considering? Thing that they have not considered, they don't know about.
So when I first started looking for a job, I started applying for a full-time jobs, and later I took some help of a consultancies kind of thing, and I looked out for contract jobs. I looked for part-time jobs. So many things I looked out for.
Mm,
But at some point of time, I questioned myself that why did I come to US and what's the purpose?
mm,
Uh, just to do a job. I always want to start a company and build something, but do you have to wait 10 years,
mm,
start a job? make some money, be comfortable, and then start it, or take every step towards your goal?
Mm.
I asked myself last month, and my heart told me that do what why you came, do a thing why the reason why you came to US,
Mm-hmm.
do that, and not be comfortable with money and all. I thought if I do a job,
Mm-hmm.
I thought in the evening I maybe build something, in the weekend
Mm-hmm.
I build something, but later I realized that when you have money in the bank account every month,
Mm-hmm.
it does it doesn't inspire you that much, unless and until you have some kind of crazy madness and or something. Even from parents side you'll get a lot of pressures like get married, have kids, you got a job, why are you risking all this? So I don't want all of this in my life. I just thought to myself, this is why I came to US. This is what I will do. This is what I want to do in
Mm-hmm.
my life. So this is what I will do. I will not get comfortable to do some job and do some traditional things. I respect people who take a job, who go through all those interviews, who take all those
Mm-hmm.
pressure from their managers and everything, and do this hard work. I do have respect for all of them, but that's not my thing, and this is my thing. I realize that, and I am happy that I move forward with this.
Okay, so I think this is this. I think you're taking a very bold move, which I think, to be frank, if you ask me, I think you're at the right age. You should do this rather than trying to. But you can essentially get a job if you have a good experience. You have built something. I think hiring has becomes easier. It becomes you essentially land up a job. It's not a it's just a matter of time. So in terms of like building a company, right? A lot of people, when you talk about this, looks very on paper. You can hear a lot of things on Twitter. Okay, you do this, and you build a company. There's a product market fit. You build. So how do you go about building a company? I know you are in the initial stage of starting something. So let's talk about what you are starting, and then how are you like so. So there are two things. So in a company, you are trying to build something which gives you allows you to use your technical skills, but
Hmm.
also you're trying to solve a problem. I mean, that's a very basic thing that I talk to a lot of young people when they say, I want to start a company. I'm saying it's not like just getting a job. When you're trying to
Yeah.
start a company, you have to understand what, as you just said, what is the motive of that company, that entity itself, because it's not you, it's a separate thing, which is going to go out and solve something. And the
Yeah.
bigger problem you solve, the more money you will make. The money is byproduct of solving people's
Yes.
problems. So talk about your company. First is what problem are you trying to solve, and who are
Hmm.
you trying to solve for, and
Hmm.
then maybe we can talk about the technology which you talked a little bit before. But what is the problem? Who are you solving it for, and how are you solving it for?
Yes. My company's name is Neural Network, and
Mm-hmm.
we deal with artificial intelligence. We build products on top of ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
We fine tune ChatGPT's API and build products for students mainly. We are
Mm-hmm.
focusing on students, international students, and undergrad and graduate students. We want to help. I think these students are underrated market in the US,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody's talking about them, nobody's caring about them, nobody's
Mm-hmm.
getting feedback from them. I feel like nobody's there, and there's a lot of scope for upskilling. There's a lot of students who are just going back and learning Java, JavaScript, and DevOps again, even
Mm-hmm.
after doing machine learning masters to get a
Mm-hmm.
job. I have seen
Mm-hmm.
so many of who are going back again. So I thought, why not help these students? Why not build an environment where we can host workshops, events, courses, live events, offline events, and everything to help them upskill themselves with the new and upcoming skills.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, at the parallelly, we want to build products for students. Not only students, we are starting with students, but we want to build products for a lot of problems that we had. And in In the same time, we had a company, sister company called Jobs to Nots. Jobs to
Mm-hmm.
Nots, basically, we are trying to compete with LinkedIn because I feel LinkedIn is a bit overrated and
Mm-hmm.
people can't get a job on LinkedIn.
Mm.
Why? Because it's just showing what you had and how you read, how you got marks, where you had an
Mm.
experience and where you studied. But at Jobs to Nots, we have proctored tests, proctored exams, proctored assessments, and students should come and take them. And we are building an artificial intelligence proctoring kind of thing, and it will eliminate all the unwanted kind of thing while giving an assessment. Like some people try to cheat in the assessments, and we are trying to
Mm-hmm.
avoid that. And when people come and take the assessments, and we have people who are valuable, the students who have right skills, who really have skills,
Mm-hmm.
and who really have the kind of talent that we are looking for, the recruiters are looking for. We
Mm-hmm.
connect them with the recruiters, and we make sure that they get a job, because in this type of world, people are without skills are getting jobs. So why
Mm-hmm.
not help people who have talent and get jobs for them?
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
No, no, I see. So you are solving for students, you are trying to build a community and then a product on top of it for these foreign students to get a job. That I guess that's what I'm trying to. Is that what
Yeah,
is the summary?
not specifically for foreign students. It's for all students.
All
But
students.
yeah, but the main thing is to help these international students to cope
Okay.
up with. Yeah,
Okay. So I think one other related question, and I think we touched on it. So this is to do with your loneliness and your friends and all of that, and your parents talking about getting married and all of that. So, what's the? A lot of people ask me about how do these Indian guys date or get married? Is there? H- do you guys have like a social circle? How can people like as people are coming in from India? What things they should be thinking about from a social perspective, like how can they make more network, like just friends, just have fun, because college is also about learning but also about these fun activities, because that's what stays as you grow and at that
yes,
network. So do you like what are your suggestions around making friends beyond Twitter but in real life?
yeah.
Do you have any idea that you want to share?
You know what? That's a pretty big problem to solve, and there's a lot of
Hmm.
scope to build for it. At some point of I thought of building a dating app only for Indian students, because
All right, yeah.
it's pretty hard for Indians to get a girl here, because
Mm. Hmm.
American girls won't look at you first, because you should have some kind of insane ha-
Looks.
you should be some looks, and
Mm-hmm.
you should be some kind of crazy talented guy or something.
Mm-hmm.
Until and unless you can't be noticed and you can't be heard. And there are most people, I feel that Indian girls are the most prettiest in the world, because looks, and
Mm-hmm.
American girls are overrated. That
Mm.
that aside. But uh,
Yeah.
I personally, I have a girlfriend from a bachelor, so I'm
Mm.
safe.
Good then. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have the
So
problem to search for a girl in.
problem. Yeah. So, but then so the other angle to this is, you guys are going to college and they're like Indians, right? You are first generation Indians in the US, but then you have second generation Indians who
Yeah,
sometimes are in the same college, right? And they also are clubbed in the Indian pie, right? They are also Indian. Doesn't matter whether they're first or second generation. How's your as a first generation immigrant in the US in a college? How is interacting with the second generation Indians? Do they relate to India? How are their values and how do you guys interact?
their view of India is totally opposite of what the reality is, because they know India only from their parents, only from movies. Maybe some of them visited a couple of times, but it's totally a different two different worlds for second generation Indians and first generation Indians, because I think the only barrier is the accent. When I first came to US, a lot of my seniors told me that accent doesn't matter and students don't listen to them. Start building accent, and accent is the only that that can take you to people, that can take you to friends, that can make you friends and make you a big network because
Mm-hmm.
without accent, so many people avoid you because they think Indian accent is blunt and it's arrogant. I think
Mm-hmm.
after 1.5 year, I realized that accent is the most important thing that we should
Mm-hmm.
develop. Yes, like literally, I interacted with a entrepreneur on Twitter. Like he's building a company on outsourcing employees to Philippines. I
Mm-hmm.
said biggest market and India has so many skilled people. Why
Mm-hmm.
not outsource to India?
Mm-hmm.
I literally got comments for that tweet like Indian accent is not good. We avoid Indians because of accent. They have blunt. Their accent is arrogant. Maybe they are not arrogant, but their accent is arrogant. So
Mm-hmm.
after listening to that, coming to US after 1.5 year, I realized that accent is the most important thing. I think I regret it for my entire life.
I mean, yeah, I mean, see, again, that's the thing, right? So I think that's a great learning, right? So not many people would consider this, right? Um, and I mean, a lot of us, especially in India, we really don't think about grooming, like grooming ourselves, whether it is accent or the way you carry yourself, which, as you see, as you come on the West, it has a lot of its importance, right? How you dress, how you talk, how you carry.
It makes
So,
a lot it makes a lot of difference for you, and a lot of Indians in the US feel offended when we tell them to change their accent because they tell that what's wrong with our accent, it's same as English, so everybody has an accent and we also have an accent, so we won't change for you, but that's not going to make any difference for you because you came to US, you are living in a different world, you are living in their world, and you should adapt to that world to cope up in that world. So
mm,
you should not get offended because it's just a thing of a language, and it's not even your mother tongue. So when somebody tells you about your mother tongue, you can get offended, but when somebody tells you
mhm.
about English, you can learn always and you can adapt always.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, why do you really care about English when it's the second thing that you have learned and the accent? If that takes you places, why not? I mean, you are learning Java to get to places, not even your language, right? It's a language which will give you a job. So accent also is similar. You can learn any language you want. I mean, this is really great. So let's get into like some tactical questions, right? So. Um, Coming from India, if someone's trying to come to the West, a lot of people think about food. Do you ever felt food was an issue in? I know Dallas has a lot of Indian places, but in general in the US, has food been an issue? Like not getting what you really had in India?
In the first, I had a lot of cravings because in Indiana there are not a lot of Indian restaurants. There's only one for every city, and it's far away, and even the taste is not good. So for the first 6 months, I had a lot of cravings for Indian food. But after coming to Dallas, I was fed up with Indian food because every street and every corner you had Indian restaurant with with very very bad taste and bad recipes. And after that, I don't want to taste Indian food in Dallas, and I just want to go here to taste the real food, real
Right,
taste.
right.
But right now, I want to explore. My thought process right now was why waste a lot of time eating the same food that we ate for a whole life? We should explore so many things, and I started exploring new kind of foods and new tastes and all.
Okay, that's a good point. On studies, so we like normally people coming from India, we normally if you have gone through 12th engineering, you would have studied. Maybe you studied during the end of the semester and just gave exam. I don't know how your college was. My college, normally people end up studying just before the exams and assignment stuff. So in the coming to the US, what is the workload like? Is it more, less, or can is it okay?
Well, in bachelors, you have a lot of physical, like boring, repetitive work, like writing the assignments, writing something, submitting something. Even for the exams in the last minute, I studied only for in the last minute, and I did a very bad job in the exams too. I didn't have a very good GPA in my bachelor's, but I had a good time with my friends, and I don't regret it right now. But coming to years, it's when you have the some people have skills in the bachelor's even they don't have a enough CGPA, but people without skills should it's easy to adapt, it's not that hard, the coursework is not that hard, but some colleges like UT Dallas, the professors are very strict and the workload is very hard and the exams are very hard. In that type of colleges you should be concentrating more and you should give much more time to your studies than
Mm.
the average Indian in the US. So it
Mm.
really depends on the
Of
university and the
course.
college. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, so another question on this. Now that you have gone through your masters here, and you're talking about ChatGPT that a lot of people don't know and all of that, right? Now, question is, what's the future of these traditional college degrees, and what should, if someone is coming now, what should they be focusing on? One is courseware, no doubt, to get your degree because that's something you're paying for. But what should they be doing is around like AI, as you're saying, like where a lot of these, especially computer coding jobs, I think has a huge impact, which I, like with the Microsoft Copilot and stuff like that. I think that you can get with GPT itself. What are the things that skill set wise, as you're saying, high value skill set? What are those?
Yeah. A lot of people are debating like ChatGPT takes out the basic level developer jobs
Mhm.
and a lot of jobs, but uh, after using it for a lot of days, I can tell you that you should be skilled enough to use the chat gpt to use the code that produced by chat gpt because it has a lot of errors, it
It
has a
has
lot
a lot
of
of
mistakes,
mistakes,
and you
and you
should be
should be
skilled
skilled
enough
enough
in the
in the
coding,
coding,
in the
in the
programming
programming
languages
languages
to
to
modify
modify
it,
it,
to
to
change it,
change it,
to
to
correct the
correct the
mistakes.
mistakes.
And
And
college,
college,
coming to
coming to
college
college
degrees,
degrees,
colleges,
colleges,
they are
they are
not
not
going to go
gonna go
anywhere in
anywhere
the
in the
coming
coming
future
future
because
because
I
I
recently
recently
saw the
saw
web
the web
series
series
called
called
Tulsa
Tulsa
King
King
on the
on the
online,
online
where
where
he's a
he's a
mafia
mafia
boss
boss
and he
and he
tells you
tells
the
you the
exact
exact
definition of
definition
what's
of
the
what's the
college
college
degree is,
degree is.
what's the college degree is for. It's a proof that you went to a college for 4 years or 2 years, every week. You submitted assignments on time, you given the tests on time, you read for the tests on time, and this is a proof of your work that you put
Mhm.
out in the world for 2 years, and you that shows your employer that you are dedicated enough, you are
Mhm.
disciplined enough to do some kind of practical thing in the world. It doesn't matter what's a college, whatever you learn in the college degree, college, it doesn't matter, but they are
Mhm.
not going to be in the future. I believe that.
Mhm. Mhm. That's a good point to look because I think many of us like through school and through college, we don't build discipline. So, for example, as you are talking about building a startup or any venture beyond your job, I think you made a comment about making money, and then it doesn't have much. What should I say? I think you said motivation for someone to do stuff. I mean, that's in general 99% of people given an opportunity they don't want to do anything. So I think, as you're saying, the college itself is a it's like a sort of a pass saying that hey, this guy has committed, let's say 5 6 years. So whatever comes, we can do it. But in terms of skill set, you are saying
Skills,
it will,
it's
yeah.
yeah, skills, there are a lot of great courses online than in universities because there are a lot of undiscovered golden channels on YouTube that you didn't discover yet, which provides a lot of value in your 4 year degree or year degree.
Mhm.
And this depends on you and whatever you want to do on your weekdays, weekends, on free time,
Mhm.
matters a lot.
Mm.
and a lot of students coming to US, like I feel that they should not be only looking for to get a job. They should
Mm.
have a motivation. Someone should tell them that they can also set up their. So many people don't know that we can set up a company on F1 visa, and a lot of them
Mm.
only need citizenship or green card to set up a company. So everyone's uh, leaving that aside and only thinking about jobs and only thinking about how to get a job, and that's the only path we have. That's the mindset that they have right now. So I just
Mm.
want people to change that and think about entrepreneurship.
And I think this is a great topic. I mean, I personally am a big proponent of building something for the world. I mean, that's something you want to create. But the bigger challenge I think I've seen with Indian, like with Indian background, I mean, people who have been raised in India. Thing is that we come from this 1.3 billion population, right? And you made it to the US. We are almost at the top, and now you are there, and so you are essentially not trying to risk anything. You're like, okay, I've come here, let me get my job, get my house, get my Tesla, put it on social media, and that's it, right?
Yeah,
And it's a trap, and I try to like, actively try not to fall into this trap, because it's easy to fall into that trap. Like, you
yeah,
make money, you can have a big house and have that fancy car, and people will think you have arrived, which I'm not questioning that they have not arrived, but what you are saying is much bigger,
yeah,
and for that bigger thing to happen, you may have to fall a little bit and then go up. But people are
yeah.
not ready to fall, because they're thinking, okay, I've come out and I'm in the top, why should I take that risk? So I
Yes.
think entrepreneurship, as you're saying, the risk taking ability. So how do you think people should think about risk?
Uh, One of the points you mentioned, the trap. That's the one. That's the one of the reasons that I didn't take up a job and took the entrepreneurship, because I know that I will feel in. I will fall into the trap once I get a job. I I know about myself that I will buy big houses and I will buy big cars when I get a job. So keeping myself in my mind, I don't want to get a job and start what I want to build. And risk taking depends on individuals, because a lot of my friends, even after hours and hours of debate, they still argue with me that doing a job is much greater than setting up a business and trying to build something, because
Mhm.
doing a job is much more safer and less riskier. Some
Yeah.
people think not taking risk is a great thing and big thing in their life, and I do agree for that, because some people may find their happiness in doing a job and having a free time on weekends. Some people may get happy with just by reading book in their balcony, but that's not me.
Right.
I'm not talking about riches. I'm talking about generational wealth. This is some quote I saw online, but and that's not me. Some people are not like that. Some people want to build something and take risk, and
Mm.
I'm this small group of people. So I feel lonely for at the start, but hopefully I'll
Yeah.
get there.
I mean, this is a lonely place of. I can tell you from my experience, right? So I have like 15 years of my experience, and I make decent money, and with that, you can fall into this trap much easier. And when I take risk of like spending and building a startup where I'm spending my own money to build a company, or I'm trying to do like a podcast on the weekend, or I'm trying to do like short form videos online, which requires me to take time out of my family, my after my office, and do that. A lot of people around me would be thinking, why is he doing it? Like, who cares? I mean, so I think no one really cares anyway. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter whether you think you are lonely. Everyone is lonely in that perspective. If you look at,
yeah,
you may be thinking someone is caring, but no one really cares. It's your
yes,
life, and what you tell to yourself at the end of the life, or the story that you are building, is the worth of that investment you are making. There is, to be frank, no one really cares whether you become like an artist somewhere, or you are like, as you said, read a book, or you become like a big thing in Twitter. But yeah, I mean, societal acceptance for you as an entrepreneur or anyone who takes risk will come at the very end of your life. It's not going to come now. So it's
Yeah.
okay. Don't feel that pressure. And I think online, as you said, like especially with the first millionaire podcast community online, and you are already on Twitter and other places, right? I mean, you have people, but they will be very less, and that is expected.
Yes.
If everyone would have taken a risk, the world would not been a pyramid. The world is a pyramid if you look at it, right? Only
Yes.
very few are at the top, and the cheat code to many of that you already know in on Twitter threads and stuff like that. But people read about it. So maybe the question for you would be, how do you convert these things that you read online, which to be frank, information is out there. There is nothing that you don't know if you want to find something. But how do you tell yourself to take action and not just read or listen or watch?
Yes. I had this problem for a very long time, like not taking action, and I had the motivation for a very very long time. I had the right intentions for a long time, but my middle class Indian mindset didn't
Mm,
had the courage to take the action, like to start a company or to start a YouTube channel, or you to start a Instagram, to be an Instagram influencer kind of thing. But I came out of that like thinking about constantly dissecting every idea that I get, every thought I get. Like previously I told you that I thought of like, why did I come to US, what am I
mm,
doing here,
mm, mhm,
what I want to do in my life in the future, what I want. So let's take baby steps towards that instead of
mhm,
some comfort thing. This is
mhm,
the kind of mindset that I take when I get into comfort zone, and I think I'm scared to do something. So we spoke at the My First Million event about the
mhm,
same thing, like taking action.
mhm,
And at the time, I was listening to so many podcasts, two three podcasts every day, and
mhm,
I was I was absorbing a lot of content. A lot of my friends see me as a madman. Like, why are you watching so many interviews and podcasts? Why are you watching
mhm,
the? It's just a waste of time. Just you can listen to music at least while you're doing your workouts. But even though during workouts, I listen to some podcast, like Friedman podcast, is still,
mhm,
constantly running.
mhm,
And I believe that listening to podcasts is a very important thing, and that's the only
mhm,
way you can learn about so many facts from great people.
mhm,
And that helped me so much to take action,
mhm.
to change myself, to motivate myself.
Yeah, I mean, this is a challenge in the modern society, and I think more people are taking content and not taking action. I think I agree to your point of taking this. It's okay to be uncomfortable and take the step. You will never
Yes.
achieve anything with your. Um, See, the idea is that all of us have ideas. Like
Yes.
in today's world,
Everybody.
everyone has an idea. Everyone has their point of view on any topic.
Yes.
Everyone has that. But
Opinions. Yeah.
opinions are there. I mean, even if you have opinion, I would say take an action. Like create a video on it, because then you are taking an action. You are doing, like, an effort is there. As you said,
Yes.
like 4 year college tells people that you have some energy to do something. You putting out content for, let's say, because I'll talk about the same Austin convention. I met this guy. What's his Chris? What's this guy? He's a big podcaster. Chris. Yeah, Chris Wilkinson, right? So he was there in the event, and I met him, and I asked him
Chris
about
Williamson. Yeah, Williamson.
yeah, Chris Williamson. So Chris Williamson, he was there, and I talked with him, and I was like, hey, I'm starting this podcast thing. So he said, see, you need to minimum make 250 episodes. It doesn't matter whether you make 250 episodes over 5 years, or whether it is over a year or 10 years, but you need to have that much worth of content. And every time you do, you improve or change the format or learn from it.
Yes.
That is where you will get to this exponential curve, because till that time it's going to be every month is like, oh no, no subscriber, no subscriber, or no one is following you. And you are also not that great, but why would someone follow you? That's the bigger question. I also he was talking about, right? You need to provide enough value for people to really think, okay, this guy is bringing in enough value for me to follow or listen to him. So I think most of us, and I, as I've started my journey on these things, I truly believe a lot of people see algorithms don't work and all that. I would say if you can provide enough value and you can consistently do it, anything
Yes.
takes 2 years, 3 years, but then this exponential curve will come. But most people cannot go through this 1 2 years of even with a startup. Like I can tell you, I'm telling you from my experience, it's going to take many years. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen overnight. And a lot of us and a lot of people, as you said, they're risk averse, are worry. They worry about that phase. Like, okay, where people will not know me. My friends will have a house, or they would have gotten a car, or whatever, right? And then you are behind. But I can tell you from my experience, it is okay. I have been behind my friends for many, many years. But then you get a like a speed up, and then you are ahead in many
Yes.
instances. So I
Then
think it's
the
okay.
be stable and our graph will be rising up
Yeah,
at some
yeah.
point of.
Because so if you don't do it, it's gonna be like this and
Yeah.
this. But if you are like, okay, I'm gonna be at the, as I said, it's gonna be end. So if you look at Elon, right?
Mm.
Elon has become so big in last what 3 4 years, like
Yeah.
the big now that he is. But he's like what 52 or something. So
Mm.
maybe he got that whole internet thing at 48. So till
Yeah.
48 he has been working. No
Yes.
one really, no one really cared about till 48 who Elon was, right? So, and you can talk with like, you will see some exception. You may say, okay, Justin Bieber became famous early. I don't know. I don't know Justin Bieber, but I'm just saying there could be some exception. But majority of it is at the fag end. At the end only you'll get the result. But
Yeah.
most of it are
Yeah.
most of us are not ready to wait till that time. We want to have it quicker.
Yeah, the only point is how much you are going to enjoy the process, how much you are going to enjoy the hours and hours of work that you are going to put into it. And at the end, when you are reaping the fruits of it, you should look back and you should enjoy every moment of the journey. And that's the only thing that makes an entrepreneur happy, and not the money that comes afterwards. I believe that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sharath, this has been great. I wanted to sort of connect with you on this. So thanks for your time. We will
No
try to
problem.
put we'll put your details, LinkedIn and Twitter, on YouTube, and
Sure.
if people want to reach you out. But before we end, there are two questions I wanted to ask. One was, what are the things that you listen or follow that people should be doing is if they're trying to come into US slash wanting to get into the US way of life, which is building things and being entrepreneurial. So, what are the things that they should be following, reading, or listening?
uh, the first thing is, try to explore podcasts of your interest, because I may be interested in entrepreneurship, AI, and so many other things, and there are different podcasts for that kind of thing. And if somebody is interested in a different niche, there are different podcasts for that niche, specific niche. And I believe that whatever your specific specialty is, you should listen to Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman, and all these kind of top podcasters. Because first I thought podcasting is easy, but it's not an easy thing. The art of getting the answers from your guest is not an easy thing.
Mhm.
So you should explore different podcasts. You should listen to first episodes of so many podcasts, and you should decide which one to go, and which one to leave out. But you should be listening to some kind of thing.
Mhm.
You should be following some people online, international and Indian. There are a lot of Indian businessmen and entrepreneurs who are inspirational, and you should follow them. You should
Mhm.
try to send cold emails, send cold DMs, try to sell something for them. Not selling means like your product, whatever you're building. Try to tell them, maybe after so many trying so many times you may get it. So but do constantly being in this loop is important, and you should always be in this kind of mindset to uh, achieve something if you are an entrepreneurship mindset. But if you are in mindset of doing a job, getting a job and settling in your life, there are a lot of other people who are teaching about that too. And like there's UDJ and Parth. There's a guy called Parth on Instagram. He's a pretty hard worker, and he gives a lot of value to students.
Mhm.
And I believe there are a lot of people who are like this too, who gives value for students.
Okay, so podcast and Twitter, yeah, that's good. And then the last question I have is, like a lot of people have this thing about India is growing so fast, and this is the right time to be in India to build things. And what's your view now that you have just come landed in the US? Now you can compare basic India and then like and US. What is your view from a job slash entrepreneur perspective? What should your view on India as a growth story?
Coming to opportunities, there's no place like America in the entire world. I believe that strongly, and I can argue on that to with anybody, because the kind of I set up my company in 1 week, like 1 or 2 weeks. I got all my licenses, all my permission, all everything. But India is changing right now, and I believe that there's a lot of startup environment going on there. I follow a lot of people, like I follow Varun Maya, I follow Nikhil Kamath, I follow Sharon, Finance with Sharon, all these kind of people. A lot of people are building startups. A lot of people are building, and it's becoming easy day by day in India to become an entrepreneur. And I feel that it's a very, very good thing and very, very positive thing for India. But coming to environment, coming to traditionality, coming to the people's mindset, I believe that India is a much safer place for people. India is much safer for kids. India is much safer for students to nurture themselves, because in America there are a lot of opinions, there are a lot of people who has a lot of options, and who has a lot of different kinds of things going on around their environment. And I don't feel that this is the safest environment to be around. But
Mhm.
opportunity, this is the best thing in the world.
Okay. I mean, this is always a very tough topic to discuss, but
Yeah.
I think I'll take that. So thank you, Sharath. Thanks for your time.
Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you found this video interesting. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or thoughts.